The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Hello, ladies. The Big Valboski here, and you're listening.
Oh, that's interesting. I guess we're not listening to the Big Valboski. Let me try another commercial here. We're having some technical difficulties, so let's see if this works any better.
The following announcement has been paid for by the
Sorry, everybody. I don't know what's going on with the commercials. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Apparently, the New World Order is hacking my computer for some reason. I don't know. Maybe we didn't give them any royalties. I'm not really sure. But on the line, I have Rude Boy Riley. I want to thank you, Riley, for joining me. I know you're very, very busy. You have a lot going on. So, again, thank you for taking the time out to be on the Roundup.
Of course. I've been looking forward to this for a while. I know that we've kind of had some missed opportunities, and that is my fault. But I'm here now, and that's what matters.
That's true, and no worries, of course. So I'm really glad we could work things out. So, one question I ask everybody who I have on the show is, because it's always interested me, how people get interested in wrestling. So how did you get interested in professional wrestling?
I've been a wrestling fan pretty much my whole life. My brother's mother, I guess my dad, I don't know, ex something, whatever she is, she's awesome. But her and her mother are Puerto Rican. They used to watch Lucha Libre on Telemundo every day. And when I was growing up, my parents were divorced by the time I was 3, so my dad was with her, and I was watching Raw, ECW, Telemundo with AAA and CMLL. So from a very young age, I got acclimated with a ton of wrestling, which was great. Not so great for my mom because I was a bit of a wild child because of it. But when I go to my dad's, I would have tapes of everything, and his buddy would tape pay-per-views for me. So that's how it all started. That's how it all began. And I'm going to plug this super early on accident. It's kind of an accident. I have a documentary that's being filmed right now, and we actually got a chance to sit down with my brother's mother and tell that story, which is really cool to me because she's very busy. She is a detective for the NYPD. She also has a handicapped sister that she takes care of. So she actually hasn't even been able to see me wrestle yet, and it's crazy because she's the one who got me into it. But it was cool that we got to tell that story on the documentary.
That's really cool. And I did want to touch about this documentary. So it's called Dust and Bones, the James Rude Boy Riley story. So how did you get involved, or how did this idea for this project come about?
So Zane Decker of Strong Style Studios had signed up for the Warriors of Wrestling Training Center, and Zane is very smart. He has an MBA in film and production. His ideas are unreal, but he's very busy in his life, and he doesn't know right now if his passion is being a professional wrestler or being behind the scenes of professional wrestling.
Okay.
But anyway, he was a student at the training center, and he and I kind of clicked. We kind of bonded. We just had very similar personalities and ideals, and he was originally just recording the Warriors of Wrestling shows and all of our promos and everything, and he made my highlight package, which is amazing. And then he approached me with the idea of Dust and Bones, because we had kind of just started recording things. I have a feud with Logan Black, as most people know. Logan's my trainer, has been one of our best friends for pretty much 10 years of my life, and we're also a tag team. So I had a feud with him. So Zane kind of just started recording that, and it kind of branched off of that, to be honest. So it started with that little feud because he found that interesting that two best friends were bitter rivals, and then it became my story of my life, pretty much.
Wow. No, I know he talks to your brother's mother, and does he talk to any of your other family members in this documentary?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this documentary is getting super duper in depth. We had a sit down interview with my mother and her boyfriend. We're going to be doing a sit down interview with my father.
Wow.
The day after my birthday, which was a Warriors Wrestling show, my mom surprised me for my 25th birthday with a huge surprise party, which for the first time in my life, was genuinely surprised. So we got a ton of footage there because everyone from my life was there, like my best friends and my dad and that side of the family, my mom and that side of the family. So we got footage of everyone, but we plan on doing a lot more. There's a lot more going into this documentary, which is why we have the Indiegogo, because we're trying to fund a couple of really exciting things that I don't really want to give away yet. But, I mean, a lot of the funding is going towards new equipment like microphones and better production, lighting, and everything. Because at the end, we want to do a long-form sit-down interview with myself that we could piece in throughout the documentary. But yeah, so we have a lot going on with that right now, and there's a lot that we've done so far and a lot that we still need to do.
Well, that's really impressive. I mean, I've never met anyone who had a documentary made about them, I don't think. But that's really neat, the idea of kind of like, now is it going to be like following part of your journey? Is there a certain time period it's going to cover? Is it going to cover just your whole life in general? Or is there a particular time period he's focusing in on?
I mean, it's definitely focusing, it's definitely covering my whole life, but it's definitely focusing on the time that we're in right now. So this year, I've had a lot of really cool opportunities this year, and I've been fortunate enough to have Zane along with me, and that's, once again, where, like, the Indiegogo money is going to go to, because it ain't cheap, all the traveling that I'm doing, and promoters cover me, but they're not going to cover my cameraman who's recording a documentary about me.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we have the perfect footage and really show my life, because not only am I a professional wrestler, but I'm a personal trainer, so there, in the trailer, this is actually shown, but there was one night where I flew out to Las Vegas on Thursday, I had a show in Las Vegas on Friday, took the red eye home, wrestled in New York on Saturday, Sunday morning, woke up, Zane came to my house, we drove to Canada, wrestled in Canada on Sunday, drove straight home, had to be at work at 4:30 in the morning. I got there at 4:29.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize, like, with independent wrestling, the amount of traveling you're doing, and especially if you're working, like you said, if you have another job, how difficult that can be to sort of manage the two.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've kind of fallen into a groove where I'm getting pretty good at it, and the job that I have right now, I'm very, very fortunate to have. They are so good with my schedule, and right now I'm only working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So this way Monday I have a grace period if I have a booking on a Sunday that I need to fly home for. And then Thursday, I'm lucky enough to have a good staff behind me, because if I need any classes covered, they always cover me. So it's a really good gig that I've fallen into, and I actually just kind of want to give them a plug. Orange Theory Fitness, they really like it when I talk about them, and they are awesome, so I have no reason to not talk about them. We just opened on Staten Island, so for any fans that are listening that want to train with me, that's where I work. We are a new studio. We are the 400th studio. We just opened in the middle of April, so we're very, very young, but we're kicking ass right now, so I'm really excited about that opportunity also.
That's awesome. That's awesome how you can balance it, and like I said, they're being cool, so definitely that's a cool place to support, So I'm really glad to hear you were able to do that. Now, am I correct in understanding that you're still a trainer at the Warriors of Wrestling, correct?
Yes, I am. That's been tough to maintain because I work a lot, and seeing as I only work 3 days, my schedule's kind of a little shady. And you would think that there's times people want to go to the gym, and times that people are going to be training for wrestling. But my first passion is wrestling, so I try to make as much time as I can for that school, because we have some students that are just really impressing me right now. And I'm really excited for the future of that company, because there's a lot of hungry kids in that school.
And what do you think is, like, for you, what is the most valuable thing, or what do you get out of training, or what matters the most to you as a trainer?
I love seeing my students progress, and I love my big thing with the kids is I want them to show initiative, because when I was first coming up, I always was asking my trainers, where can I go with them? What car rides can I take? It didn't matter to me about losing money or paying for gas. And I only have a few students that do that, so those are the ones that I really look after. And, I mean, like, if any of my kids are listening, you might say it's favoritism, but it's not. It's those are the kids that want it, so those are the kids that are going to get it. And I'll give him a little shout-out. The main one, I don't know if you've seen, but he's kind of started to get his name out there a little bit in New York. His name is Vinny Pacifico. He's only 18 years old, and he has so much talent, and he begs me every weekend to come with me everywhere. He just got a booking in Ohio. He's doing well for himself, and I'm very proud of him. And then I have another student, Isaiah Wolf, who is always texting me like, hey, Coach, where can I go? When can I go? And I took him and his partner down to Atlanta with me, and they impressed very, very much. So those are two students that I'm really, really proud of right now, because they're really trying their best to really get it. They're in the school at least twice a week. They're traveling, they're wrestling, and that's what I appreciate.
That's awesome. You know, I mean, that's the best way to learn, really, too, is to do it, to travel, to actually do the schedule, to be in that environment, you know, and watch, you know, not only help set up, but also, too, to see the environment, see how the shows are run. I mean, that's a great experience to have.
Right, and see the different styles and everything like that. I like for my kids to see not only what's right, but what's wrong. And I enjoy the car rides because I get to ask them, what did you think of that show? What was good, what was bad? And I know what I'm looking for as an answer, but I like to see where their heads are at. So it's really cool to travel with them and really see where they are, which helps me understand them more in the ring, too, because I get where their heads are at in general. So yeah, I really appreciate the kids that reach out to me, and it's a bummer because I offer all of them to come, and we have a page on Facebook with our school, where I'll say, hey guys, I'm wrestling in, I'll use last weekend as an example. Okay. Hey guys, I'm wrestling in Buffalo this weekend. If anyone wants to take the trip with me, I have an open spot in my car. Right. I wound up driving 7 hours alone. Oh, that stinks. Now, to be fair, Vinny Pacifico was booked in Ohio that day, and Isaiah Wolf did contact me, but he was out of my way, and I couldn't pick him up. So, to their credit, they tried. But there's a couple of students in the school that kind of let me down because they're so good, and they just don't. They just don't. I don't know if they don't want it or if they don't understand it yet. But I'm proud of everyone in that school. It's just that's really big to me, obviously.
Right. No, absolutely. And you know, and that's, like I said, the way to get that experience is to do it. And so, you know, it's a great opportunity that you give them to join you. And, you know.
So someone like Jay George, who's really getting his name out there right now, was getting some good bookings and getting a little bit of buzz about him. That's how he did it. That's how every outside booking that he's gotten has come from coming with me to a show and just being like, hey, I have my gear in the car if you need anything. Boom, that's it. If he doesn't get anything, that's fine. He watches the show and sees what's going on. Right. If he gets something, that's even better.
Right. You know, it doesn't hurt to get your name out there. Is kind of, I think, one of the most difficult things to do. And that's a really good way to do it.
Oh, it's so hard.
That's a great way to do it. And two, you know, even if you don't get to do it, even if you help out a little bit, you know, those impress promoters, you know, those guys who show that initiative.
Right.
Yeah, and, you know, like, just having been part of a crew and stuff, I know that, like, when people have done that, you know, I've noticed it, and I've said things to the promoter and been like, hey, you know, this guy was awesome. He was really helpful, and he was really great to be around. You know, that's somebody who, like, we would want in our locker room, you know, or want in the group, because, you know, he's a guy that's going to be reliable, it's going to be helpful, it's going to be a good addition.
Right, and I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. People notice, and that's the truth. You know, promoters, and like I said, but even the people you don't think kind of matter, or, you know, aren't necessarily paying the bills. You know what I mean? They notice, and sometimes, you know, they can have an effect. So it's a, you know, really important thing to kind of get out there.
Right, and that's what I want for my kids. Like, I want to give them the best opportunity possible, and they have to jump on that. Right. I can't do it by myself.
That's true. That's true. I mean, what do you think about, like, you know, social media in terms of, like, promotion and getting yourself out there?
We are in a world right now that it is the easiest it's ever been to